So hi, once again we are in Cognite Lab and this is the 7th tutorial of how to learn Python from the basic installation to the advanced. So in this tutorial we are going to cover up what is return, what is boolean operator, what is break, what is continue, all of this. So let's start it.
Tell me pretty lies, look me in the face, tell me that you love me, even if it's fake, 'cause I don't fucking.
So now first we have take an example. So in previous video we can see what is function, how can you write a function, what is a statement of a function. So if you does not watch my previous video in the app, that will be showing, and watch that first and then come here. So now let's understand return. What is return? So for that we are taking an example, and in that example we are taking to input from user as an integer, and then we are define a function, and in that function we are add those input, and then we are returning that value. Now what is function? If you does not know about function, see in the app we have a previous video, just watch that and then come here. In that video we will briefly discuss what is function. So now let's come to this video. So now here we are adding those value and returning that. So what mean by the returning? So here let's think that we don't have to print that value. So if here we can write print w, so that whenever we call that function, in previous video we can see whenever we call that function, that will be print that number. So now here we don't want to print that number, we just want to get that number, and then we can do more mathematical calculation or operation. Then we want to print by ourselves, not by the block. We want to print that out of the block. So now what we are doing for that? So now if we call that function, let's run it. It's first take two inputs, so first one input, then second input, and now it's not giving anything. So now why it's not giving anything? Because we are not printing the number. So now if we are writing this return, there is nothing come. So what is the uses of that? So now this call will be giving us a value, and that will be a w. So whenever we calling a function, if that function have any return statement, then that function will be giving us a value by this return statement. So now how to get that value? You have to just save that value in a variable. So now here this function will giving us a value, and we have to save that value in a variable. After that we have to print that variable with our mathematical operation. Now we have to add one more with that value that will be returning from that function. Now let's see what happened when we click on run. So first it take one input. So now you can see 8 and 8 equals to 16, and we are also here adding one more, so here we get 17. So now you can understand that this call feature will be returning this value. So now why it's returning? Because of this statement. So whenever you are writing this statement, and after that statement the value that you want to return, then in the calling statement that will returning that value, and we have to save that. Then we can do all the things that we need, any mathematical operation or any logical operation. Then we can print or anything we can do based on our project. So now hope you understand what is the work of returns. Now one thing we remember, that whenever you typing return, you have to type that after in the end position. That means after all the statement you have to write that in the end of the function. If you write that in middle of any statement, like after that you also have a statement, and that will be print hi, then this statement will not execute it, because after return it will not goes there, and if it goes there then it will be giving a syntax error. Because whenever you type return, the interpreter will take that that is the end of the statement, means after that there have no statement. If you write any statement, that will be a syntax error. So let's run on. So now, so it's giving 17, it's not giving the high, because of after writing the return, the interpreter will be think that that will be the last statement of that function. That means whenever you writing return, you have to write that in the last statement. So hope you understand what is the work of return and how can you write it. Just first in a small letter you have to write return, then after a space you have to give the value that you want to return from that function, and then you have to save that value, and whenever you call that, that will giving this value, and you have to save that in a variable, and you can do the logical operation on anything, and then you can print or anything you can do based on your project. So now hope you understand that. So now let's understand what is Boolean operator. So boolean operator mean 1 and 0. Booleans mean binary number, and binary number will be 1 and 0. So here 1 will be represented as true and 0 will be represented as false. There means you have to think that false equals to 0 and true equals to 1. So now we are taking an example once again. For that we are taking to input from a user as an integer, then we have to create a variable and we can save that variable as false. Now this is the first boolean operator, that is called false, and we have also another boolean operator that will be true. So now you can simply think that false equals to 0, we can save 0 value in over. Now we have to loop that all statement for 2 times. For that we have taking a loop and in range of 2, that means it repeated 2 times. So now if over equals to false, mean if over, we have take a condition and the condition will be if over is 0, then we have to execute all the value, and if over is not false, if over is not 0, then we are not executed any of those statement. So now in this example we are doing that if the user will given 5 in for the first input, then we are not executing any answer, we are not executing any statement, and we are not giving any answer. But if user will giving anything in the first input except 5, then we are executed all the statement and we are giving any answer. So now for that we have to first type the function, then we are taking once again a condition, and in that condition if the num that will be the first input is 5, then we have to say that over is true, means over is 1, and else we have to return the value of w, and then we have to print. So now let's click on run and let's see what happened. So first it take one number and that will be 7 we are giving, then it's taken 1 again, then it take once again, and then it give 2 values of 14 because this loop will repeat it for 2 times. Now you can understand. Now let's see what happened whenever we giving 5 for the first input. We are giving 5 and 6. So now it's printing none. So now why it's printing none? Because of whenever it's come to here, it will check is num is 5 or not, and it's see that num will be 5, then it will be not going to the else part. If you does not watch my condition video, then in the up you can see, click on that and just watch that and come here. You have to understand first condition, then it will skip this part, and then it will simply goes to here. Now here k means the returning of the function. So now here the function will not returning anything, for that k is none. The variable is saved, none value means nothing. So now whenever we want to print the value of the variable k, it will printing none because they have no value. So hope you understand for that. And now whenever it's come for the second loop, here it will check over is false or not. So here we are setting over is true, so now its over will be true. Now it's the condition will not fulfill, so it's not executed for the second part. So hope you understand what is the work of true and false. You can also write 0 and 1 in the position of false and true. So this is the true and false. This is not so important, but you can use it in various logic or in various operation as you based on your needs. So this is the simple example for that, how can you use it. So now hope you understand this. So now let's understand what is break. So here we are taking an example for understanding the break. So now first we have to take 2 input from the user, and then the over will be false, same as the previous example, and then we also have to execute all the statement for the 2 times repeatedly. Then we can, for that we have to take a loop for 2 times. Then we are taking a condition as in previous example, and that will be over equals to false, then it will execute it all, without it will not execute anything. So now whenever it's come to the function part, it will check it and then it will give it. Now here after that we also have to print high. Okay, so now then it also going to the second loop, and then it will execute any same thing again and again, and then it will come to the part of printing high. All the things are same. This part will be same as before. You can pause the video and watch it, and then we are only joining this part, this on extra statement to that. So now what happened here, after doing that, it's come to here and it printed high, then it come again same thing for 2 times, mean repeatedly. So now we also using break here. So now what is break? So break means in simple, in real life, whenever we can click on break in motorcycle or in cycle, that will be stop us. Then means we are executing the way, the path. So that's mean whenever we running cycle or bicycle, we are executing the road, we are executing the way that we are going. So whenever we click on the brake, we are stopped in that position in that time. That's mean after pressing in brake we are not executing the road, we are not going to the further. So same thing will be applicable for that. Whenever we type brake, that will not go for the further, that will brake in that position in that time. So let's see what happened actually by clicking run. So first it take one number, then we'll take second number, then click on enter and let's see what actually happened. Okay, so now it's only printed 14 and high for one time, but here we are using loop and that will be for two times, so it actually have to print it two times 14 and two times high, but it's not. Why? Because of this break statement. Whenever we are writing break in any position of this statement, in that position that will be break, mean that will be stop, and after that it's not going to the loop, it's not executed again, same thing, it just break. That's mean the loop will be stopped, the loop will not executed again, those things. So hope you understand what is the work of break. Whenever we have to write break, then the break will break the loop or stop the loop or stop the condition. In what type of condition or what type of loop you are using, based on that, that will be break in that position. So now here we use in the last. So now you understand why we are using break, to break any loop or break any condition. And whenever we do not need any more time, but the loop will again executed those things again, but we don't want that, so there we are using break, and then that will be break that loop. So hope you understand how you use break. So now let's understand what is continue and how can you use it. So for that, let's take example that here we are erase this break and here we are type continue. So now what you think, what actually happening here after giving this continuous statement? So now here happening that whenever you click on run, let's see what actually happening. So first, if we can debug it by our mind, we can debug it by our mind, not by debugging in the real actually. So if you does not know what is debugging, in the up the video will be flashed, you can click in that link and you can watch that what is debugging. So you have to just see what actually happening. So first it taking to input, then it will done whatever in the previous example. After printing none, if we are giving 5 into the first input, and if we are not giving, then it will execute the W, it will print at the W now. And after here it come to the continue part, and then it can print the high. So it going to for two times, because we are not using break, so it's doing for the two times. That's mean two times for printing this and two times for this. That's mean we are getting 4 values. So let's see what actually happening, because there have a twist and the twist will be continue. We are using here continue in middle of those statements. So let's see what happened actually. So whenever we click on run, we have to give the first number, that will be 7 and then 7, and that will printing only 14. Now what actually happening here, we are getting only 2 time for the case. That's mean it's real that we are, that's mean the loop will be not break, loop will giving us repeated value. But here after k we are not get high, that's mean this high part will not executed. But why? So here the twist will become, whenever you using the continue part, this will directly goes to here. So whenever you giving continue in any position of any condition or any loop, then that will goes to the loop again from that position, that will not executed further all the other statement. In that position we are using continue. So here after executing this part, the interpreter will come to continue part, and after reading this continue part, it will again goes to the for loop, and again it come and again it see there have a continue, and again it goes to the part, and then it see that the range will be to completed, so it's not going to repeat it again, it's just over. So now it's not printing this part because of this. So hope you understand why we are using continue. So if we need that, we don't want to print this value, so we are just using continue, because we don't want to break, because if we using break, then this for loop will not continue, this for loop will be break, and this for, and then the all statement are executed for one time, not for two times. So whenever we need that, we need to executed all the statement for two time, except this we are not want to executed this statement even not for one time. So then we use continue. So for what continue actually did, continue did it's not break the loop, it will executed all the part of its above, but it's not executing this the part of this down. So hope you understand what is the work of continue. So after continue, whatever the part, whatever the statement that will not executed, the continue will recycle it into this part. So you can simply think that they have a connection to for and continue to a loop. With the continue, whenever it's come to here, it does not go down, it's going to there. So you can understand by that. So hope you understand that this is the work of continue. So now let's understand what is sweeping value. So now we are taking an example. So first we have a variable. In that a variable we have a value of 7, and we also taking a b variable, and in that variable we have saved that a value, and we can print ab. So now we have to swipe that value, means we have to save 8 value into a, we have to save 7 value into b. So how can you swipe that value? So for that we can use simply all brain, and we can swipe that by this formula, that we have to first save this a into a second variable. So now this c variable will save the value, whatever the value have in the a. So now we also have to save the value of b. So now whatever the value b have, it will save in the d. So now we have to exchange the value, we have to swipe that value. How can you swipe that? So now b will be actually a, so we have to say that b will be a, and now b will change, now b will 7, and now we have to say that a will be 8. But here if we can write a equals to b, that means here now b will be 7, because first it executed this, the Python interpreter will be executed this, that means it saved b as a 7. Now if we can say a equals to b, that means a will be again saved 7 value. So we have to say that a equals to d, because d will be saved that value whatever we have. For that we have to say a equals to d. Now whenever we printed ab, let's see is it swiping the value or not successfully. So now we can swipe that value. Now first we have to print 8. So now first we have to print a, and a will be 7, and now the value will be changed, and it's going to 8 and 7. So hope you understand that. So now this will taking lots of variable, lots of memory, because a variable also taking a memory in computer, because all the things are memory. We have, whenever we have to save some numbers in a variable, that takes some memory, and that's take to lot of memory. So what we can do actually, we cannot take this variable. So now what we can do, simply that we are taking 2 variable, and the last variable will be saved into another variable, and now whenever we have to exchange the value of those variable, we have to just exchange the first value. Now the b value will be changed to a value, and a value will be 7. Now we have to change a value once again. So what we can do, we can simply say that a equals to d, because d variable will be saved the 8 value. Now we are not taking one more variable, we are just taking only one more variable, this variable, and by that only we are exchanging those. So now you can understand that. Now if we can print, the same thing will be again come. So now you understand, we don't have to take 2 variable, we just taking one variable and swiping the value. So this is called a swiping method. You can swipe, you can exchange value of any variable by taking one more variable, one more extra variable. So this is the method. So why it's important? Because there have nothing really uses of that, because of in interview, in jobs, this question will be asked many times, and this will very important concept in computer science, so you have to know that. So that will be, so hope you understand. So in this video we can learn all this. So first we have to learn return, then we have learned break, then continue, then the swiping value, and also we have learned in this video boolean operator, that is true and false. So in this video we are learning top 5 most important syntax of Python. So these 5 are most important various uses in every project. So now you can know why it's used in various type of project in every day, because of the work of that. Because in every project, in a certain amount of time, we need this continue, because in every project we need something that will not executed, that will be skipping part. So for that we use continue. And also we need break, because of break also important in everyday project. We need break because we have to not executed same thing again, we need some time, we need after some time that. And we also need true and false, and we also need swiping value. So this is all. Hope you enjoyed this video, and if you enjoyed this video, do subscribe, give thumbs up, and please share the video. So thanks, bye bye, we are seeing in the next video.